A crime has been committed, but where? Hey, what's up? It's Brian Hazard. It's your Saturday Spasm here on Gamerati, and today we are talking about Stop Thief by Restoration Games. Recently kickstarted and was shown at Gen Con just recently. I got my copy right after I got home from Gen Con, and I am super excited about this one because I have been a proud owner of the original Stop Thief for many years. And not just one of these folks that went and got themselves a copy because this was coming out, but actually a lover of all old games electronic. I've had this one for a long time, so I was really pleased to see this one coming out. So much thanks to Restoration Games. And for those who haven't tried it yet, they did a pretty good job of remaking this classic into a modern implementation. So I will show you this, and frankly, oh, ignore this, I made this myself. That's a little cheat sheet thing I made. They made some interesting changes to the game. And of course, they didn't include a giant electronic crime scanner like on the old one. Admittedly, giant electronic crime scanners are cool. So cool. But yeah, they didn't do that for this. Instead, they made an app for your phone. And I know that a lot of people don't like the idea of apps for your phone for games. Here is my humble opinion on this. I am a member of the cult of the new. I go through games pretty quickly. I find it, I don't know that I will be playing any games that require apps 10 years from now, so I'm not worried about that. However, I'm not saying that that is an invalid argument. It's just one that I am not concerned about. So anyways, enough of that. Let's talk about the juice. This is the board here for the new game, and one of the things I like that they did differently on this, there's the board. You don't need to see me. There's the board for the new game. And one thing that's different, that they did differently with this board, is you'll notice that it's not a grid system the way that the old board was. You know what? Somebody just recently scolded me for, referencing games that they weren't familiar with as a reference. So I shouldn't do that. I should just show you what I'm talking about, because I can. Boom! There's the old board right there. And for some reason, I thought the new board was smaller, but I guess it's really not. As a matter of fact, it's bigger. Huh. Look at that. Old board, new board. Pretty cool, right? I'm going to do a then and now video on my own channel, Game Spasm, so I won't get too much into the similarities and differences here. But I will say that one of the things they did is they realized, there's no reason to make it a grid-sized shaped board because there's lots of places that are useless on the board if you make it a grid. So they decided not to do that, which is quite all right with me. Here, I'll go like this. That's a little better. Nothing's falling. Everything's fine. So the game is fantastic. You can see the UV spot print that's on there. And it's a really neat idea for a game. It is an invisible movement, thief that moves invisibly about the board that you have to try to find using deduction based on electronic clues that you're given by the crime scanner. So you'll hear them commit a crime at one of the various available crime locations. And then based on what sounds you hear, does he open a door, does he open a window? I've got the app here for the game. So here's the Restoration Games app loading up right here. And they're going to use this as a hub for all of their different games that they're going to come out with. But we'll pick Stop Thief, load that up. And so we'll do a new game. Here we go. All right, Museum of Modern Antiquity. That's funny because it doesn't make sense. So you would look for the Museum of Modern Antiquity on here, which is right over here, Museum of Modern Antiquity, and you look, he committed a crime at one of those locations. So then the next person, when they take their turn, they'll hear a clue. Let's see if I can turn this up so you can hear the clue too. All right, and it'll give you, it even shows you a little bit too, like, here, I'll get a clue. So after he committed his crime, he went onto a numbered space that is a floor space. So it would be one at like either here or here. Let me get this closer so you can see. Right? So you would hear that they made a crime, and then they moved to a floor. So it wouldn't have been this spot because the only place he could move is a door or a window. So you can eliminate that spot as a crime. But he could be here, he could be here, he could be either here, right? So then the next person, when they take their turn, they get a clue. Ooh, more walking on the floor. So he walked on the floor twice, and the thief, so he would move to another floor location. Then he opened a door. So that starts to eliminate places. He could have gone here, then here, then here. So he could be at either one of these. He walked on the floor twice and opened a door, so he could be there. So as the game goes on, you're supposed to narrow down the possibilities of where the thief is by hearing the sounds that come off of it. So for the most part, it's exactly the same as the original game. They removed the rolling dice movement and replaced it with movement cards, which I think is better. Where is Where is everything? They replaced little plastic dudes with awesome wooden meeples that look like the different people that you can play. Each character has their own set of movement cards, which means that they all have slightly different abilities. This isn't included in the game, but I made it for my own reference. It's a little cheat sheet that tells you, what the different abilities are. On the Kickstarter website, you can see what the different abilities of each person is, and it's sort of kind of a shame that it's not included in the game, so you can really say to people, hey, if you want to play the red guy, he's a veteran, he gets more tips, or if you want to play the green person, they're underhanded, they move slow, but they steal money from other people. Each character has their own ability, and I say so too much. No paper money, they did cards instead. Thank you so much for that, because paper money, no paper money. Anyways, that's really all I have to say about Stop Thief. It's fantastic. I do love when we merge technology with board games. This is from Restoration Games. It's called Stop Thief. It is for ages 14 and up, arguably just because of the deductive nature of the game. Younger players might struggle with the concepts behind what you need to do in order to win the game. 2 to 4 players, and it plays in under an hour easily. It's light, it's easy to teach and learn, it's fun, and I recommend it. And you are not missing out if you never played the original game. Never need to have seen it. This is a good game on its own. I also like that if you are used to the old game, you can even set this thingamajigger to sound like the old crime scanner. So it can even make the same noises as the old one did. Okay, here we go. So this is set up. So as you can see, you can set it up to act, look, and sound like the old one. So, and they did a pretty good job, actually, of implementing that and making it look like the old one. You cannot use the... I think you're able to use the scanner. If you want, there's a setting to use the old board from the original game. You cannot use the new old scanner with the new board. And I think that's fair. It's kind of hard to do something like that. But, I mean, seriously, look I'm holding technology that's 30 years apart, 40 years apart maybe even, in each of my hands for a game that's been restored. This is great. This is just nerd happiness all over the place. Love this game. Thank you so much, Restoration Games, for remaking one of my childhood favorites. And if you guys have more interest in this, be sure to check it out on Board Game Geek. Also, be sure to come back here to Gamerati to get more news and interesting tidbits about all your favorite games. I am Brian Hazard, and I will see you guys on the Geek. Have a great Saturday. Take it easy.